Europe has a negative growth, and the United States is going to have a negative growth environment. I don't mean absolute negative. I mean slowing of growth in a material way that could be close to between 0 and 2% over the next 18 months. So we are going to be in a slower growth environment, and then, of course, that affects capital flows.
That was famous world investor Ray Dalio talking to our Maria Bartiromo in Davos, saying, this isn't looking too ideal here. The global economy slowing. No matter what we do, we can't get out of that way, and it's going to be a problem. So let's get the read from Charlie Gasparino. He's not in Davos this year, but we're happy to have him here. Well, the message a lot of these guys are saying, I guess, Charlie, is that brace yourself.
Yeah. By the way, that's one of the few places that didn't throw me out when I was to cover.
That you knew of.
Yeah. Yes.
Sometimes we would go to you and we didn't know whether you knew where you were.
Or sometimes they wouldn't really announce that they're throwing me out. They would just throw me out.
Right? It was great stuff.
It was great.
Nothing like Sun Valley.
No.
Close.
No. Listen, Davos. Just so you know, it's very 30,000 feet. They are focused on the world economy. No matter what people that watch this network, or some people watch this network, believe, we're not an island, okay? The United States is not Fortress America. We are affected by global events. If you do trade and tariff wars, that will have an impact on the economy. And I think what Dalio is saying is something that a lot of people are saying, is that if the world economy goes into the you-know-whatter, over the next couple of months, we are going to be affected. In
other words, this notion that people were building that we'd be a haven for all that cash that couldn't find a home.
It's going to impact us. Okay. And the fact is, the tariffs that Trump put on, the fact that he's not part of TPP, the fact that he's more isolationist on trade will exacerbate the sort of the global slowdown. It's going to hurt us even more, because they'll go tit for tat with us, and it's going to have an impact on certain industries. Anybody that tells you that's not going to happen doesn't understand economics 101.
And another trouble here is that, people always salivated the prospect that talks are promising. Representatives from China are going to be in this country next week, and they're going to continue talking. If you're dealing with a slowdown, and it's a pronounced slowdown, and believe me, the IMF could be wrong on a lot of these forecasts. Sure. They often are. Well, that's going to limit how much bang for the buck you get from a trade deal.
So China, amid a slowdown, is if they give us some concessions, it doesn't make that much of a difference. Okay, might make a little bit of a difference because we're not in an absolute trade war with them, but it's not going to make that much of a difference. Now, that's the negative side. The positive side is people think, okay, and they better be right about this. And this is mainly you get this out of the White House: Mick Mulvaney, Larry Kudlow, Kevin Haslett, and Steve Mnuchin, who's over there. Mnuchin is over there. Kudlow is not.
I didn't think anyone from the administration could go.
I thought he was going. Well, maybe I'm wrong now.
Yeah.
Maybe they decided.
I actually like it better when it's just the corporate business heavyweights. The politicians are at. Macron's not there.
Right.
Merkel not there. That I think you get a better read of the makeup of the world without politics when these guys aren't there.
I don't know. That place, unlike Milken, the Milken Conference, that is a very hands-on, granular conference where this place is 30,000 feet. You just don't get that.
They're all big names. They're all there.
I know.
They're pretty big names.
They have a lot of fun drinking Swiss Miss. But the point I'm trying to make is that...
You ran into Swiss Miss a couple of years ago.
I did.
Right?
Very, very cute lady.
Sure.
Yes.
Sure.
But the point I'm trying to make is that...
But to a man and a woman, they're all saying this. I mean, that they're worried.
But this is what
this
is what Mick Mulvaney would say, what Larry Kudlow would say, that we just cut corporate taxes a lot.
Right.
We're going to get some bang for the buck out of that. So we're going to be okay because of our deregulation and tax cuts. And
we're going to be more than okay. Kevin Haslett was on our this morning. I always feel better when I watch him because he's always smiling.
But he does have a permanent smile.
Right, he's always smiling. That we're going to grow 3%, and that's a pretty nice clip.
That's if things happen according to them. Obviously, if we grow 1%, the problem that the administration had is that the deficits are going to widen out because they cut taxes, and then that is going to get, if we get in that slow growth mode, it's going to give the Democrats, whoever runs, a big.
You've looked at the 8 who are in the race
right
now, or something like that, and I think it was the Washington Post that went through upwards of 30 plus who could be legitimate contenders. We focus on Congresswoman Cortez and think she's representative of that, but to a man and woman, they all share more government and higher taxes, just not up to 70%. Like Even the House budget chief coming in is talking about raising the corporate taxes 28%. A lot of this is greasing the skids, I think, for 2020 and their message. How do you think that message will be received?
Well, I could tell you that just from the Wall Street donors who I deal with, and there's a lot of Democratic Wall Street donors, believe it or not, Barack Obama was able to become president because he had seed money from Wall Street early on. He had a guy named Mark Gallagher, who's a big hedge fund investor, worked at Blackstone's. He's got his own shop now, kind of forming the core, and he brought in people like Dick Fold and Larry Fink from Blackstone, and they assembled a team that gave him money. I think the problem with the people running, the guys and gals running right now, except for Biden, is that no one really, they're so far left. They're even farther left than Obama. Like, the core Wall Street guys believe they can deal with Obama. You know,
I don't think this party today could nominate a Bill Clinton.
I don't think so. But here's the one thing. The Wall Street guys I talk to, they're holding out for Joe Biden.
Is that right?
Yes, they are not going to open their checkbook until they hear what he's going to do. And if he goes...
And by the way, if you raise a lot of money in small denominations, we learned from Barack Obama, that can open the way.
Remember, he had the seed money from Wall Street to start. It created the infrastructure so they can go out, man the phone banks.
He was the first to get it online and do that. That was pretty impressive.
I know that, but he was...
You're a hater.
No, but listen what I'm saying. He was only able to do that because he had seed money from these rich fat cats.
I don't buy that.
Yes.
He had a lot of money coming in from average.
From Wall Street, the beginnings.
I think you're reinventing history.
Larry Fink from Blackstone, Dick Fold from Lehman, Gallagher, Gary...
Aunt Betty, Uncle
by the way,
$25 at a clip.
Gary Cohn from Goldman, who went to work for Trump, was one of the first Obama supporters.
What in history scored more small donations than any other combined?
You need the infrastructure.
Barack Obama.
They developed the infrastructure.
It's not a pro-con. I'm just telling you. You make noise on that level. That's why work gets the attention he does. You're off to the races.
But you need an infrastructure, and if you don't have that baseline from Wall Street and the financial community, it's hard to create.
Start small, just like you did. You started small
and thought big.
Insignificant.
Yeah, I started with
you now.
Yeah, I was with you from the beginning.
There we
go.
Right. All right, we shall see. Thank you, my friend, very, very much.